Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to talk a little bit about boosting your income. Now, that's one part of the path of the wealth expedition, and it's built into a broader context of wealth building. Now, there's a couple ways you can boost your income. One is in the short term, you can create short term boosts using the gig economy. And then there's the long term boost, which is really focused on getting a job change, a promotion, or a raise. It could even be focusing on a bonus within the current job. Within the wealth expedition, I focus not just on money, but also the wealth of time, flexibility, and purpose. Now, some gigs like taking online surveys or selling digital products either are going to be taking up too much time and not enough purpose, like a survey, or it may be a longer term sort of build, like a digital product where you have to have an audience and a way of marketing it to actually make it worthwhile. In my newsletter this week, I mentioned 6 ways that I particularly like to boost your income in the present. Basically, it could happen as early as tomorrow. Now, these types of gigs don't sacrifice time and flexibility and even the sense of purpose for the extra money. They're actually pretty fun. If you want to check it out, go over to thewealthexpedition.com. I'll leave the link in the description so that you can read up on my 6 favorite ways of boosting income in the short term. I remember the days back in the wake of the 2008 Great Recession. I mean, the shockwaves of that thing lasted for years. Even in 2011, 2012, it was rare to see a company that was actually hiring new positions for entry-level jobs. Everyone wanted experience. You didn't see now hiring signs, and even college graduates were having difficulty landing basic jobs. So I remember back in those days where I was thinking I could just make a few extra $100 every month. If I could just make 500 or 1,000 extra a month, what a big life change that would be. And back then you didn't have a lot of options. You had online surveys, you had a few things, but it wasn't like it is today with the gig economy, more developed now than it's ever been. So I think in terms of wealth building, boosting income in the short term can produce a very strong acceleration to your growth of wealth over time. The earlier you start investing, the earlier you start putting capital towards building your own personal business. These are all types of things that we talk about in the Wealth Expedition, which gives you a step-by-step map towards accelerating your wealth journey. And these types of side gigs or side hustles really improve and accelerate that very fast. In the Wealth Expedition journey, there's a reason that I encourage 15% increase in your income, whether that comes through a raise, which is ideal, whether it comes through a job change or a promotion, but it can also come from things you can do today, renting out high ticket assets that you have. It can come from these gigs, which I talk about in the newsletter, and building up this income fast gives you an immediate boost to wealth building. And think about what you could do with $500 extra a month. $500 extra a month adds up to $6,000 a year. Now that could pay for a very nice international vacation. If you save it and invest it for 3 years, that $6,000 a year could become something like $20,000 after 3 years, depending on what the return on investment is. That $6,000 a year could be invested into the early startup stages of a business, which ends up making you far more than the stock market could ever do. These are the short-term boosts to income that lead to long-term wealth accumulation and sustainable income that's far greater than anything that we see today. So head on over to the Wealth Expedition, take a look at the newsletter, take a look at the 6 ways that I like that anyone can start today. I'm accepting founding members right now. I'll also leave the link below in the description if you're interested. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time.